We continue with the fast-paced, high-octane action of PUBG Mobile Club Open South Asian Qualifier on the second day of the finals. The first battle of the day took place on Erangel, in which the plane took off from Quarry towards Mansion. Many teams chose to drop in at the early southeast part of the map at Quarry, but spread out evenly across the area. The early game was relatively quiet as a result of the distribution of teams, with the circle closing in west. Team INS were eliminated quickly in 15th place ahead of Entity Brawlers. In an unfortunate event, Ronak from Fnatic seemingly killed himself with a grenade while trying to take a fight.
That was always going to be tough.
Ronak just killed himself with
What?
the grenades? Maybe he was downed when he was throwing it? Must have been.
Entity Gaming 2 finished well in the top 6 with the 5th place finish, maintaining their stunning lead over the other teams. Synergy, despite losing most of its members in the early game, managed to get the 4th place finish thanks to series plays. Fnatic finished strong in the 3rd place despite of Ronak's self-sabotage earlier in the game, a much-needed breather from day 1. The Nepali squad Elementrix took the chicken dinner against Rip Official after Poo Poo Man took the situation in his own hands and demolished Rip.
It should be the win for Elementrix as they're going to come over the hill. Tempest is going to go down, and that's it. Elementrix they win, and they take game 1.
The second game of the day on Sandhawk was confusing for a lot of teams. Fnatic were eliminated right off the bat as they landed in the compound on the shores and then they swam across the river. That's what left them vulnerable and led to their early exit. Not to mention that ridiculous shot from Shagar.
Qualifying for the preliminary and the global, or the global finals. Shagar, always, my god, that headshot.
The circles this time were half and half spread out across all 3 parts of the island, which made predicting the circle movements and crossing the rivers very difficult. Synergy moved in from the northwest island and rotated early to catch teams in the middle of their own rotations. SouL were getting plenty of kills. They wiped out Mayhem in the start as they set up a trap, but in the end they were caught outside the zone as Synergy put pressure on them and did not let them inside. Entity Brawlers too put up a good fight, but a great performance from Regaltos carried his team SouL to the 2nd place and Brawlers at 3rd. Synergy got the winner chicken dinner.
There's 2 teams, and just Dark remaining is going to be the win here for Synergy as they take it again on Sandhawk.
Yes, what a great game for Synergy.
Game number 3 on Miramar. This was a rather slow-paced game where most of the kills started coming after the 3rd circle. The 3rd circle moved towards the mountains behind Chumasera. As the teams fought for high ground control, Nepali Honi were eliminated by 0 Degree as they used some brilliant flanks. When the 4th circle moved in, the teams were forced out of Chumasera and into the open. That's when the war started as Miramar turned into the wild west. Entity Gaming fought Rip Official head-on and killed them all at the edges of the town, but then SouL swooped in right after to finish off Entity.
2 overzealous here. Jonathan's going to be wiped out. He's on so low HP, but so is the spray from the AK
Oh
from
my
Neo,
God!
and he hits the DECK. RIP are out in 12. It's
R.I.P.
going to be the toss of a coin here between which team and which player is going to win it. But look at the HP for Jonathan. He's in such a poor position here. May even go for the reload or catch him out when Regaltos is reloading. But no. SouL take it. Viper manages.
The 5th circle was a little awkward as there were only 4 teams who had only 1 player alive each. Fnatic and Mayhem were the only teams left who had all 4 players alive. Entity Brawlers, 0 Degree, SouL, Team IND, all of them holding on to dear life, soon succumbed as those individual 1 remaining players fell. And then the game turned into a 3-way battle between Fnatic, INS and Mayhem. Fnatic were busy fighting Mayhem. They sent Scout ahead to gather information on them away from his teammates. But while that happened, INS rolled in and started attacking Fnatic from behind and killed 3 of them, leaving Scout all alone. In a sheer display of skill and game sense, Scout single-handedly destroyed all of INS in a 1 vs 3 and even downed one of the players from Mayhem. He could have done more, but he ran out of bullets, and while he was reloading, Mayhem jumped up on him to finish him off and get the chicken dinner. We saw an emotional Fnatic team break down as they let victory slip from their grasps.
This one is going to be pushing forward. The players from Mayhem are going to be able to low HP. It's more damage being done. And here we have it! Mayhem have done it. Scout tried his hardest. And you can see what it means for Mayhem. They realized that if they didn't win that one there...
The fourth game on Erangel was pretty interesting. The plane took off from George Pool to its military base, letting teams easily land on the western sides of the map. But then the circle took a hard turn to its east. Fnatic had an interesting fight with Trust the Process at the edges of the western bridge at the start of the second circle. And even though Fnatic managed to win that fight, despite all of that, the mid-game was not intense, as a lot of people were still alive by the start of the fourth circle. And after that, the circle wandered towards the mountains in between Shelter and the Lumber Mill. There's not a lot of cover over there. INS had controls on one of the only compounds that was still in the circle. All the teams tried to crash in and take it. Entity pushed them in a bid to take control of it and snatch it away, but were completely wiped out. The only other house was under the control of ORB. Godlike managed to snatch it from them and hold it like a fortress and kept most of their players alive. The last few circles were very awkward for all the teams. They had to use smokes for cover and built mini compounds out of broken down vehicles. The man advantage, though, stayed with Godlike, and they managed to keep all their players alive, taking only those fights which were safe and proceeded to win the chicken dinner.
Godlike.
Let us reset here, John. This is a 2v4. Currently, Smokey goes down. It's just Joker now. He's on the hillside versus 3 players.
Versus 1. He's going to go in. Mafia over the top. Looks for the shot. They will take it home. Godlike finally able to claim the chicken dinner. Much needed in the hour.
Game number 5, Weekendy, was full of individual plays. Several players stepped up to get some nice jaw-dropping headshots. But the highlight of the game were obviously the funny moments. The funniest moment was in the fight between Entity Brawlers and Team ORB. Brawlers rushed in, killed almost everyone from ORB, but Mazik stayed hidden in a corner behind the door, sneaky beaky like a ninja. Nobody from Brawlers found him. After some time, the other Entity roster came in, and Ghatak with a great grenade blew up both the remaining players in just one go. But still, Mazik continued to hide. Finally, his luck ran out and he was put down, but it was fun while the hide and seek lasted. Speaking of hide and seek, Entity used that too. In the final circle, Neo was the only man left from his team. While IND were busy fighting SouL, Neo stayed in a corner outside the blue zone healing himself. The zone was too damaging and he died, but then IND finished off Mortal to win the game.
Don't know if he's going to be able to get it in time, but Mortal goes down in the meantime.
They
Neo
ladder up,
falls.
though.
SouL get up and they get in, and that's going to be enough. IND claim victory, but what a performance from everybody in that last circle, doing so much work. The chicken dinner, however, going IN.
The last game of the day on Erangel was the most exciting one, and it was totally worth waiting for. This was the most exciting game in the entire tournament so far. 0 Degree started off the game on a high note. As they landed towards the west of Shelter, they started finding cars for themselves. And then they found Aman from Entity in a buggy of his own and engaged in a road war to kill him. Later, they also found fights with Team Mega X and had us all rolling on the floor laughing as Mega X brought fans to the gunfights.
It's against the Deagle, which is better. The teammates are there. Oh no! Okay.
Fnatic had a great time at the end of the bridges. Yesterday they lost to IND while crossing the bridge, but this time they did something rather silly to get past them. Honestly, we still can't figure out what was going on in their heads, but they managed to survive. The circle then shifted towards the dunes in between Ruins and School, and all hell broke loose. A full-blown war ensued with 5 teams fighting in absolute chaos. Somehow, in between all of that, Entity Brawlers were able to get several kills and revive all of their teammates despite being in a horrible position. Mayhem, Trust the Process, RIP, Elementrix, Nepali Honi, ORB, all of them bite the dust. SouL found themselves at the edge of the water town and had vantage point over all of them, raining down fire from the skies and farming kills. The next circle pushed the teams out of Rosehawk. SouL moved out of their compound and took cover of the rocks. Fnatic were at the highest cliff, but they were getting shot from both SouL and Entity Brawlers, and eventually they succumbed under pressure. Synergy were holding on to dear life as they found a little ditch and used that as cover. Synergy, SouL, and Entity Brawlers with all 4 players alive in a 4 versus 4 versus 4 locked horns as they scrambled for cover and used all the smokes they had. The play zone pushed out most of the players of Synergy, and the only 2 teams remaining picked them off except for one. Siri from Synergy held on to dear life and he continued to hide, allowing SouL and Brawlers to fight each other out first and finish each other off. In the rarest of circumstances, we saw the 7th circle, and now SouL were the ones who were forced to move out. Viper whipped out the UAZ and went in to run over Sangwan from Brawlers. Meanwhile, Mortal shot dead Nova to eliminate Entity Brawlers in the 3rd place. With nerves of steel, Survey clutched out the last 1 versus 2 against SouL to turn the tables and reign supreme with the chicken dinner victory. This was the best clutch that we have seen in the tournament so far.
But he's not going to be able to get it. Jumps out instead, but goes down. Now it's just Mortal alive for SouL in a 1 versus 1, but he cannot do it. Synergy E able to take it home against all odds. Look at that. Relief on the faces.
We saw absolutely everything on the 2nd day of PMCO South Asia Finals. From clutches to bridge fights, from 1v1 aim battles to full-blown wars that killed 7 teams. This game had it all. And we are not done yet. There's more action to come tomorrow as teams scramble to get into the top 5. The road to Kuala Lumpur is at stake here. Which team are you supporting, and who do you think will go directly to the global finals? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to this channel for more PUBG Mobile related content and live coverage of the PMCO South Asia Finals. Thanks for watching and we will see you soon.